WIFO FM in Jesup. Big Dog Country Radio, 105.5 FM. It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Brought to you by First Southern Bank, Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, and O'Quinn & Associates.
Hi, I'm Mandy Yeomans.
And I'm Raymond Brown with First Southern Bank. As your locally owned community bank, we're here to help our community grow. Our customers are why we are here. You can tell we want your business.
We offer all types of deposit products, personal and business. We have fast, efficient service, and yes, we have online banking too. I'm sure we have an account to fit your needs. Stop by or call us at 912-588-1010 and see how First Southern Bank can help you.
We're FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to barbecue, Van's Barbecue in Jesup is the place to be. A small family-owned business located at 1876 on the Savannah Highway. Van's Barbecue has lunch and dinner specials. Stop by or call to make an order. The number to call, 427-3358. Van's Barbecue's new manager is Sarah Van. Van's Barbecue offers potato salad, coleslaw, baked beans, and don't forget their delicious mac and cheese. Also, check out their shrimp plates, the best in town. Yes, when it comes to the barbecue, head to Van's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. Stop by and tell them the Big Dog sent you. Once again, the number to order, 427-3358.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jesup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jesup.
Are you looking for an insurance company that you can call and talk to a live person? Are you looking for an insurance company where you can walk in and talk to an agent? Are you looking for an insurance company that offers multiple companies so they can try and get you the best rate? If you said yes to any of these, then you need to call or come by O'Quinn & Associates Insurance Financial Services. We offer multiple companies so we can find the best fit for you. Give us a call at 385-1000 or stop by our office at 212 South Fair Street right here in Jesup.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
World-famous Butch and Bob Show, right here on WIFO, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio.
And again, I want to remind everybody today at Van's Barbecue, snow crab legs are available once again now for just $4.99 per cluster while they last. Come see manager Sarah Van today, pick up some snow crab legs. Today, just $4.99 per cluster while the supplies last.
Is it going to be after 4 o'clock like it was last time?
I think they start right at around lunchtime.
Okay, anytime today.
As soon as they're open, they've got them available, so head on down.
So get them while they last.
They're going fast, so they're $4.99 this week while they last.
Today. At Van's Barbecue on the Savannah Highway, just at the bottom of the 301 bypass. Snow crab clusters, $4.99 per cluster.
See James Van, remember he's the man.
James Van is the man.
Yeah, go see James. Go see Sarah. Sarah's the new
Sarah
manager.
Woman is the woman.
You can check out the new dining room.
They got a dining room now.
Very nice.
Okay. Not only a big old front porch, they got a dining room now.
It's very nice.
Okay. All right. World famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. And Bob, we got a special guest in this morning here on the show.
The 3 weeks of early voting for the East Blast for Wayne County Board of Education begins this coming Monday. We got Dr. Sean Kelly, school superintendent, to talk about it, encourage people to get out and vote yes for the East Blast, and talk about what all it's going to generate, what all it's going to be, the money's going to be used for. So, Dr. Kelly, we appreciate you coming in, being on the show.
Thanks. Both you, Butch and Bob, both of you guys, the way you support the school system, we very much appreciate that. And you guys have been talking about our East Blast coming up, and I appreciate you letting me come on the show again. And we're looking to just get some information out there, and so that all your listeners are aware that this is not a new tax; it's a continuation of what we already do. I think a lot of folks may think that this is something in addition to, and it's not.
No, it's just a renewal of what's going on right now that we've had for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And look at all the facilities and all the maintenance and all the stuff that's been over the last few years with those dollars.
Yes, sir. As soon as we finish James E. Bacon, all 5 of our elementary schools will be within 12 years old, which is great. We're doing a lot of other things in other places. We do a lot of repairs. We buy buses, technology, and do a lot of things with the eSplost. It would be very difficult for us to do all those things for our students without the eSplost. And so we're just very excited that, we have a vote coming up on March the 21st. But like Bob said, early voting starts Monday. And we just want to encourage everyone to get out and vote and consider, voting in a manner that best suits them and their students in the Wayne County school system.
A reminder that early voting takes place at the Hall Richardson Recreation Center. Again, that's located at 660 North 4th Street. 2 early Saturday dates as well, March the 4th, March the 11th. Time on Saturday be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the good news is the only thing on the ballot. As I told you, most people go vote for something rather than against something. But as you joked, you only have to have one more vote than the negative.
One more yes than no.
But hopefully people will see they've seen it for years. Like I said, we built all these new schools with the eSplost, but this eSplost, since the schools have been built, the 2 top projects are an ROTC facility and an ag center. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. When the ROTC program was awarded back to the high school, it was with the understanding that we would, have a suitable facility for them to operate in. They've been operating in portables, and that's just not a good thing for those students. And so we will build an ROTC facility. Our hope is to build it on campus, something that's nice and for everybody to be proud of. But we're also going to build an agricultural education facility. We want to build it just down the street. And we want something that's top notch and first class for our ag students and for our community to be able to use. Agriculture is, the number one industry in the state of Georgia, and it's huge here in Wayne County. And we need something for our kids, to have to build those skills and to operate in that industry so that we can continue that here in Wayne County.
Have the locations been picked out already for those 2 facilities? Like I said, you got that land that goes towards the church. Is that where the ag and ROTC? Are you looking at that land? Is there other land you're looking at?
Well, so first, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We want to pass the SPLOST. We don't have anything picked out. Our desire is to build the ROTC facility on campus so that it connects to the building, and to build the ag facility, like you said, just across where the track is, between the track and where the new church is being built. I think would be perfect for us. We wouldn't have to cross Joey Williamson Road. We would still have access to and from to be able to get kids there really quickly. And there should be enough space over there, but we'll get more into that, as the process progresses.
The ag building, what all will it have in it? What's the design of it's going to be? What will they be doing there?
So our initial just kind of, design to kind of see what it might look like is going to be something similar to what some of the other schools around us might have. There'll be offices. There'll be a big, huge showing area. There will be stalls, So
it's an outdoor-indoor facility.
It's going to be an outdoor-indoor facility. There'll be places to get the livestock ready to show. There'll be places to house the livestock to be able to stay there 24/7. That we want to make sure we have a space for the big trucks and trailers to be able to come in, have enough room to turn around. We'll have places to wash the pigs, and we'll have a cattle barn, a small pig barn. We'll have a place to, put things under a covered area, equipment and things. And so it'll be really nice. Our ag guys,
big outdoor facility, big indoor facility for the ag program, which is very important.
Yes, it will be a very nice facility, and we'll work very closely. With Mr. Kirkland, who runs our program, him and the other ag teachers that run the program, we'll work very closely with them on how it's designed, and look, we'll get some input from some of our local, farmers and ag folks in the community about what they think we should have, and, we'll go through that process, and then we'll make a recommendation to the board.
Now, the ROTC building, is that going to be like one big room, or is it going to have a room and an office for the instructors? How's it going to look?
So the ROTC facility has some basic requirements. So there'll be a meeting space. There'll be a classroom space. They have to have at least 1 or 2 offices for the instructors. They have to have a room for what we call cloth, all of their uniforms and things. We have to have an armory that is secured so that they can have their air rifles and things. But we're also going to put a shooting range in there so that they can practice for their competitions. Hopefully we'll build one that is nice enough so they can host competitions. Everything we do in Wayne County, we're trying to be second to none. And so we're going to try to build them a facility that they are very proud of, but that also builds the skills that they need to go on after.
Now, the Army ROTC program, who are the instructors for the students?
You would ask me a question I don't know.
You don't?
I know the gentleman. Well,
I tried hard all morning long to think of a question you wouldn't know.
Well, there you go. And you know what? I should know, and I apologize to those guys, but I don't know the
I guess we
names.
should have the principal in here.
Dr. McDaniel would know.
He would know.
I bet you the next time you ask me, I'll know.
You can't know all 800 of your employees,
can
you?
But I have met with them, and if I tried to say their names right now, it'd be a mess.
I know when I was in school here, it was the Air Force ROTC, and it was up until, 15, 20 years ago is when the program stopped, Bob. And somewhere along there, and now it's come back with the Army, which, the way that Fort Stewart has expanded through the years, it makes sense.
You have the referendum that people see when they go in the voting booth? Because don't you have to outline what all? Do you
yes, I didn't bring it with me.
Somebody said the only negative thing I've heard is somebody said it says on there it's going to still help pay for the cost of James E. Bacon, and most people thought the last SPLOST was going to pay for James E. Bacon. So how much does James E. Bacon actually cost, and is that actually in the referendum that's going to help pay for the remainder of James E. Bacon?
So what it says in the referendum is completion cost of James E. Bacon. So this current SPLOST had that same language for Martha Rawls. What it does, it allows us to replace any money that we may have pulled out of our general fund to help pay for James E. Bacon. So if you think about James E. Bacon being about a $20 to $21 million project, we raise this SPLOST was designed to raise $25 million. Well, if we used a little bit of that to help pay for Martha Rawls, so that's a little bit of a deduction. You think about all the buses, the technology, and all the repairs and all the other things. We may not have enough money generated by SPLOST to help pay, for the full price of James E. Bacon. So we may have had to pull some money out of reserves and pull some money out of our general fund, and that allows us to put that money back in if we raise enough money in the next SPLOST.
Well, we didn't know we were going to have, when it was bid out, we didn't know we was going to have COVID and the super high inflation that we've had for the last couple of years. So, and the supply problems and so forth. So you think it's going to be one thing, and if person's ever built a house and it's taken a while, that things happen.
Well, and people. I've heard some people say that it's over budget. Well, it's always really been budgeted for what the price is now. There was an estimation prior to COVID of what it would cost, and after COVID, it's costing a little more. But you're right. I mean, the inflationary cost, the supply chain issues. Our general contractor and our construction manager have done a great job getting that thing as far along as they have. And it's cost us a little bit more than we wanted it to, but it's not anything dissimilar than what some other school systems are experiencing with projects that they have that went through the period of COVID.
And now when you're bidding out, if you've said on the air, and I know that other folks that with the school system have said that when you get a bid, you want a high bid because you want to make sure that you can go with that bid or lower when the project's built, like the new ROTC building or ag facility.
Yeah, so when we start this process, we always get an estimation of, from our architects and our engineers about what it may cost to build the facility that we're wanting to build. I asked them to go high, and I also asked them to include a 12% inflationary cost so that the number we get, would be a high number, but we probably will build it for considerably less. I just didn't want that surprise again about we said it was going to be this amount, but it actually turned out to be $6 million more. So.
See, that used to be standard operating procedure back in the 70s and early 80s because we had such high inflation back then, but we haven't had inflation for so many years, but now it's back. So things are going back to where they were then until this inflation cools off.
Yeah, and we're very excited about the way things are going. We're very excited about the James E. Bacon project nearing completion, but you guys know as well as I do. I don't know when James E. Bacon was built, but I know it was, a few decades ago. When you start building a school while you're also going to school, there are things that we ran into that we had no idea were, that were going to be the case. I mean,
I can tell you when.
I mean, the main hallway of James E. Bacon, they had to go in and redo all of the infrastructure, and I mean, there was a 20-foot crater going down the middle of one of the hallways where they had to go back and replace plumbing from, 40, 50 years ago, I guess. So
yeah, I moved here in 68, and that was brand new Wayne County Junior High School.
Yeah.
In 68. So it was built 66, 67.
Mm-hmm. And so,
long time ago.
And, when you go back and when you modernize a school, well, building codes are different now than when it was built. So we had to do a lot of additional things, to bring it up to code. But it's very nice and it is pretty.
Again, $30 million over 5 years. Like I said, ROTC building and Ag Center, just a portion of that $30 million. So people, ask the question all the time, where's the rest of the money go? I mean, I tell it, school buses, technology, everything.
School buses, we do school buses, technology, we do safety enhancements. So a lot of things we do with safety, equipment. We will have the ability to look at some of our athletic facilities and do some things either, at some of the existing facilities or look at new facilities once we get the first two projects underway. We'll look at that and see which way, our citizens and our board decide to go with those things. And then, there's just a lot of other things that we can do, repairs. I mean, in South Georgia, I mean, it's February and it's, 80 something degrees. And so air conditionings break down and those things are expensive, and we're working with purifiers and a bunch of other things to work on. So, all of that money allows us to do all of those things.
And I know folks in Scriven, because we've received text messages on it several times when y'all have been on here, they want a covered area so they don't have to get out in the rain dropping off students and picking them up.
Yes, Principal Given reminds me every time I see her about having to stand in the rain with an umbrella during car rider drop-off and pickup. And so, that is certainly one of the projects that is at the top of the list for consideration. And so what SPLOST does is allows us to do those things. I'm not a general contractor. I'm just stabbing it here, but that's probably a $200,000-300,000, at least $300,000 project, maybe a $500,000 project. Without SPLOST, those kind of things don't happen. So that is definitely something that may be a consideration moving forward.
You mentioned athletic facilities. The big story, of course, is the JC Stadium. You mentioned the cost to renovate, to build a new stadium. Got to ask you about that cost, because Peach County just they just did a state-of-the-art brand new football field with a synthetic turf, electric scoreboard, and a track around it, and the cost was $6.8 million. And you say $18 million. So how's it such a difference? How can they do it for 6.8 with a track around it?
So I'll say this to you, Bob. I've run schools. I don't build multi-million-dollar facilities. I have people who give me prices for that. Southern A&E is a very reputable firm, and so they gave us an estimation of what it might cost. And not only do we have to consider what's above ground, we have to think about what's below ground and what is there, what's not there. If your infrastructure's not there, we have to do all that. We have to look at site preparation. We have to look at the cost of materials, and so. We are looking at, if we go across the street, we're looking at not only building maybe a stadium, but also prepping it for a complex. So hopefully maybe down the road, maybe baseball goes over there, softball may go over there, soccer may go over there. So we're looking at those things too. So if we say it's going to take maybe an estimated $18 million to build over there, but only takes 6 or 8, hey, we're very excited. That leaves us a lot more money to do other things. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to tell the board it's 6 or 8 million to do this, and then when we actually get knee deep into it, it's 15 million, and the board's like, "What are you talking about? You didn't say this." So,
okay. There's been talk about, like I said, moving across the street for a brand new stadium. Then there's talk about renovating. Has there been any talk about just totally taking where JC Stadium is now, just totally gut it and build a brand new stadium at the current site? Have they looked at that possibility at all?
So the $9 million that we have an estimate for, when I was talking to our architects and engineers, I asked them to think about taking everything to the ground. The only thing that will stay, and it probably won't even be the grass, is to take everything to the ground. The only thing we would keep would be the 2 locker rooms at the other end over by the soccer field, but everything else from the ground up would probably be brand new. So, when we say renovate, I'm just using that loosely because it's on the same site. But it would probably be everything just totally brand new from the ground up.
I don't want to upset the soccer people, because soccer people think if you build a brand new football stadium across the street from the high school where the JC Stadium is now, the soccer field's right there, that they could build a brand new soccer complex and use that. So I don't want to upset those, but there's a lot of possibilities what you can do with your facilities.
There's a lot of things there's a lot of possibilities, and we will be obligated to build the ROTC facility and the ag facility. Everything else after that, will be things that will be, we'll get input. We'll talk about, and ultimately the board will make decisions on what direction we go in. But, we feel very comfortable we can raise $30 million. We feel very comfortable with bond and interest payments, for $20 million with what we've been doing, over the last 2 years. And we think we have a lot of possibilities to really take our facilities to the next level, over the next 5 to 10 years, if we can get this thing.
Now, the buses, when y'all replace buses now, do you replace them with air-conditioned buses?
Yes, we do. The state came out with a program to give us a little bit more of a reimbursement over the next 3 years. We went ahead and we're going to go ahead and just use all of that money now. So we've got 9 new buses on order. All of those buses will be air conditioned, and we feel very confident that when those 9 new buses enter the fleet, hopefully every one of the buses that our kids ride on will have air conditioning.
Yeah, I feel for the students when it's in the mid-90s out there in August and September, and you just got fans running. I just feel for them.
Yes, and we get reimbursement for that, but we don't get nowhere near what it cost us to buy a bus.
Now, from the technology standpoint, you talked about that would be one of the areas y'all look at, I guess, improvements in technology because it changes so quickly every single year in the schools. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We have devices that we provide to children. We have devices that we provide to teachers. We use instructional devices, but not only that, you got to think about also the infrastructure for technology, the wireless points, the cable that has to be run, the access points and all of those things that we have to have that allow us to function and do our day-to-day teaching. So that's very expensive, and after 3 or 4 years it's obsolete, so you have to pay for updates. There's educational software that we purchase every year, so there's a lot of different technology that we purchase and maintain so that our kids have the optimal opportunities for the education that we give them.
Okay. Are y'all on the city limits there at the high school?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Someone was asking because you will have livestock there, so.
I think so, yeah, but I don't. Again, that's something we'll look into, but I don't know how far down that extends.
Okay.
You mentioned decisions. When will the decision be made on the stadium? I mean, you have a timeline of when that decision will be made, and what is the thought process of the board? Have you heard what do they think they should need to build a brand new one or renovate?
Well, so right now, we've just had some general conversations about what will happen after we start the first 2 mandatory projects. We haven't really gotten too deep into what. I know there is a desire to look at, what we're going to do with athletic facilities. We have not entered into those conversations, about exactly what we will do. My goal is to start the Ag Center and the ROTC Center, and once we get those projects off the ground, then start having conversations with the board about what their desire might be, with regard to JC or across the street or anything else. And so
it all comes down to what the board wants. Is that right? Once the Ag building is constructed and the ROTC.
Yes, sir. Ultimately,
I know they'll get input from a lot of folks.
Yes, I counsel and advise, but ultimately those 5 individuals are the ones that say yes and no on things.
And we've had text messages, people, like I asked you before we went on the air, how much is projected cost for the ROTC facility and for the Ag facility, each one?
So the projected cost, and really it's an estimation. We're looking a little over about 1.2 for the ROTC facility, and for the Ag facility, I think it's a little over $10 million. But again, we think we can build it for much less than that, but we wanted to make sure that we had a good solid number that we could work with and not go over.
Okay.
If we understand, if the SPLOST passes in March, those 2 projects will begin immediately. Is that correct?
No, sir. No. What we'll do is so our current SPLOST runs out. An estimated end date is June of 24. Right. This vote would then pick up July of 24 and 5 years forward. Depending on when that SPLOST runs out, we could probably start some things. But what we cannot do is we currently have a bond payment and an interest payment every month. And if we enter into the next SPLOST and go ahead and sell bonds, then we'll have 2 bond payments and 2 interest payments, and we can't afford that. We don't have the desire to pay 2. So we'll probably start next summer. But the reason we're trying to go early is so that we can get a lot of the preliminary work done when the next SPLOST starts, then we can go ahead and start projects and start doing things and not have to spend 6 or 8 months in the planning phase.
You can have all the drawings done.
We're going to
try
to
have all their done. The construction crews lined up. Everything ready to go at that time.
We're going to try to do all the upfront work and all the preliminary work, early, so that when the new SPLOST starts, we can hopefully break ground quick, a lot sooner than if we have to start it, next summer.
I want to ask you about one other topic. I was at the county work session, and the rec director there, and I didn't know this, but they said that the school system did away with their contract with Coke and went to Pepsi. So explain what took place there, because they said Coke provided a lot of the scoreboards and came and took some of them back. Is that correct, or what happened there?
So oftentimes when you enter into an agreement with a beverage company, they will provide equipment for you. Now, when I was way back when I was a principal, they would provide equipment, they would maintain it, they would fix it. So, some of the beverage companies are getting out of that business, but they will provide you with something, but you have to put it up, maintain it, that, and then spend all this money on it. And then, if your agreement, ends, a lot of times they'll come back and get their equipment because it's loaned. We will replace 2 or 3 scoreboards, but we have resources to where those will be replaced, and we may have a little bit of a downtime without a scoreboard, but we're already in that process.
Was Coke too much? Was the contract?
Well, I'm not going to get into the business part of that, but I will say this: my focus is our students and service to our students, and so I'm always looking at our agreements, to optimize, how our kids are served and what's best for our students. And sometimes we make decisions, to change gears because we think we can do things better for our kids. And so, when those decisions come, we take a lot of consideration into those and make decisions so that we can better serve our kids, which is, my responsibility is to take care of the 5,000 plus kids in our school system, and that's what we're trying to do.
Once again, in the studio with us, School Superintendent Dr. Sean Kelly, talking about the upcoming SPLOST vote. Again, it starts Monday, runs Monday through Friday, runs all the way up to the 17th of March. The election date is Tuesday, March 21st. Hopefully people can see, I also wanted to go ahead and stress that everybody else, when we go out of town, you pay everybody else's 1 cent penny. So it's just fair when they come to our place, they pay the 1 cent. So that I think most people understand what the SPLOST is, but some people don't. Like I said, some people still think it's a new tax. So just trying to get the information out there. But
so our baseball team's going to Lake Point. You said to play for. Well, the money they spend on rooms, they're helping that county SPLOST.
Right.
The money that you buy hot dogs with and all that kind of stuff while you're up there, Bob, you're going to be helping their SPLOST. So we think when they come to us, they should help us too.
Exactly.
Well, the voters here in Wayne County for 20, 25 years now have voted the SPLOST in, and hopefully, or at least 20 years. I think this will be the 5th time they've done it, something like that. And if it is, then
built a lot of schools.
Built a lot of schools with it. So the voters of Wayne County have seen the money get put to good use, and it will continue to be good to put use with the ag building, the ROTC building, the upgrades with the bus systems, the technology, and then hopefully upgrades on some athletic facilities here in Wayne County.
And it doesn't increase property taxes. It doesn't increase the millage rate. It's just every time we have a purchase, it's a sales tax. Every time there's a purchase, we get a penny for every dollar.
Every penny. We appreciate you coming in. Always welcome. Do want to remind everybody again today at Van's Barbecue, snow crab legs, $4.99 per cluster while they last. Go see Sarah Van, the manager. Pick up some snow crab legs today. $4.99 per cluster while they last.
Thank y'all.
All right. Take care. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show with Dr. Sean Kelly, Wayne County School Superintendent. The show has been brought to you today by First Southern Bank, by Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, and by O'Quinn & Associates.